Okay, so global marketing. So this presentation basically is to look at the global integration and local responsiveness in worldwide marketing. So my name is Elijah Sumi. Dr. Enyabisa is my lecturer. So the objective of this presentation is to look at the executive summary, the introduction, the drivers of global integration, the drivers of local responsiveness, the impact on key operational decision, the consequences of organization failing to strategize global marketing, and we look at conclusion and our references. So let's move on to our introduction. So with global marketing, we understand that it's a process of adjusting the marketing strategies of a company in order to adapt to other countries' condition. First of all, we want to understand that marketing, as defined by SIMA in 1976, is the management process responsible for identifying, anticipating, and satisfying customer requirements profitably. So that is what we are looking at as marketers. So when we say we are going globally, it's we migrating from our origination to our external, that is other countries. We widen our horoscope or horizon to other market. So with global marketing too, we also understand that it's not just the process of selling your service or product globally. It is a complete process of planning the product, creating and positioning it, and then promoting that product in a worldwide market. So we understand that global marketing is also based on global operational similarities. We're looking at opportunities and differences that will help in meeting the objectives of the company. So, global marketing broadly, as said by Kotler and Kayla 2016, encompasses the process by which organizations align their strategies, product, communications, and operations to serve consumers across multiple national markets while maintaining a coherent identity. So that is what global marketing basically looks at. So let's look at some of the drivers of global integration. So, first of all, I think to help us understand, we have to understand that global integration is something that when we establish it well, it helps us to gain a competitive advantage. And some of the things we have to consider is product standardization. And when we talk about product standardization, a key example is KFC. KFC in Ghana is the same KFC in Nigeria. KFC in Nigeria is the same KFC in Ivory Coast. That is a product cuts across the same taste. We're also looking at the manufacturing processes, the supply chain across markets, firms drastically reducing production per unit cost, thereby enhancing competitiveness in margin performance. So that is what we look at in terms of drivers of global integration. Let's not also forget that the brand consistency is also a key factor. The reason why iPhone is now worldly accepted is because of this, their brand consistency. And with them, they have been able to ensure that they are also supplying based on they considering whether it's the country having a positive or a good purchasing power. With Africans, we have varieties. People who can buy the Pro can go in for the lesser one. So if an iPhone 17, for instance, that was previously manufactured, they have various types of the 17. If you have the means, you can go for the normal one. If you have the super means, or if you are worthy, you can go for the Pro. So in continuation to that, too, we move on to the drivers of local responsiveness. And when we to look at the local responsiveness, the best thing that can help us to understand this well is the Hofstede um, differences. So we understand that with him, it was established in 1980 which is a foundational cultural dimension framework which establishes that societies differ systematically in ways that have direct impact, that have direct implication for consumer preference, involving their decision making process and responses to market. We understand that organizations will also have to look at the individualism, their power distance, the uncertainty avoidance, their masculinity. These are all things that organizations have to look at. And for instance, if I'm to pick the power distance, I'm also looking at their ability, the economy's ability to, whether it's been developed, whether it's been underdeveloped, or whether it's been a developing country. As an organization, if we are to venture into such institutions or into such countries, we have to look at all this to know what their purchasing power is, how well they can purchase. Do they have the means? Are they well established? Ghana is a developing country. Not everybody can be able to purchase when the cost of the product is relatively above what they can even buy or eat in a day. So, in continuance, the best example we can also look at is McDonald's. So, with McDonald's, for instance, when they ventured into the Indian economy, they noticed that for them, they serve or you can't use cows because some parts of them see them as their gods or their goddess. So you'd have to change. So what they had to do was, instead of they having the normal routine, they had to change it and replace the beef product with chicken and vegetable in order to thrive. And when they did that, in the long run, they were able to have a profit margin of 25.49 billion in 2023, which is a milestone achievement for them as organization. So the next thing we also want to look at is the impact on key operational development. So when they're the first thing we're also looking at is our product and service development. So the integration responsiveness balance exerts its most direct influence at the level of product and service development. So firms must be able to globally standardize their product. And a firm which has been able to do this so well is the Apple. The Apple brand has been able to globally localize its peripheral. That is, its iOS ecosystem maintains a globally uniform hardware and operating system design while accommodating software level localization. That's its language support, features, market specific payment. So they have been able to localize all of this and it's helping them also as well. The next thing we also to look at is our pricing strategy. Like I earlier stated, as we are entering the country, we should be able to look at we being able to have varieties of our product lines or the product serving the same need, but in ways which can meet the purchasing power of the people in the country or our target market. The next thing we also want to look at is our distribution channel. So, with our distribution channel, we are looking at the strategy where operational dimensions in relation to the local adaptation is mostly met across all markets. So, with an example, it's been uh, Gambo distribution strategy in Nigeria. It exemplifies this adaptation imperative. So with them, the company has invested a network of local distributor partnership. So when we know as a when we know as a firm we can't actually set our establishment in the other country, there are means where we can still function either by franchising licensing, or we outsourcing. These are means by which our distribution channel can also be met or be done in that country. The next thing we also want to look at is what are some of the consequences that we'll face when we fail to achieve strategic balance. So the first thing we want to look at is the strategic consequences. And here, a firm that fails to actually balance its global integration and local responsiveness would actually inflict severe strategic penalties. And one among them is we suffering from financial consequences. If we neglect this, we are going to suffer financially. And to move on to, we are also going to suffer from our brand. Our brand reputation is key for us as we are looking at going globally. But if we end up not localizing with our mentality of having globalization, it will definitely affect our brand also. Yes. And I think basically this is what we are looking at as in our presentation. Due to time, I think we'll draw the curtains here. And these are some of our references for which was used in our work. Thank you so much.